Exogamy, marriage outside one's uh, community, clan, or community, clan, or tribe, usually outside of one's own group. The initial function of exogamy was to circulate the food supply. The most important feature of tribal society is a complex organization of matrimonial classes. It says when you get married in holy matrimony, holy in the Greek sense is a helios. Helios is associated with the sun, and you know what comes from the sun, the light or the rays that come from the sun. And some would associate that with, could connect that to Ra. And anytime you deal with the word re, it's a reconnection with Ra, with light, and light is knowledge. Classes, matrimonial classes, which is called by anthropologists the classificatory system. In this societal complex or complex, you live in a complex or a building, and it takes a blueprint. It takes architectural work or architectural design to build a complex. Is in fact a natural outgrowth of institutional exogamy. The basic principle of the classificatory system is that kinship is reckoned. There will be a day of reckoning, a day of judgment when it comes to our limitations, our accomplishments, and our failures between groups rather than between individuals. So you are marrying into the group, the reckon or the failure, accomplishment, and limitations is between groups, is reckoned between groups rather between the individual. Under this system, a man calls father not only his actual father, but all men who, according to the tribal mores, might have been his father, and he names as his mother not only his real mother, but the entire group of the woman, any of whom might have been his mother according to tribal customs. And as we see, even as some people go to certain stores and they call someone their mother and they know they're not their mom, they call them mom, mom, mom. It's very, that's tribal. You know, they do things and don't know why they do it. People do things and don't know why they do it because ignorance is the result of hostility, as if there's nothing to learn of that which is oppressing us, it is ignorance. And even when we call ourselves uh, sisters or brothers, because but you are marrying into the group because remember it said in here in the book Man, God, and Civilization by John Jackson, it said that the initial function of economy was to circulate the food supply, to circulate, to share in the food supply. All right, here we go. Professor Thompson, and we're talking about how the obligation to surrender their products to members of that clan. Remember that is associated also, as Julius Nyerere talks about in Africa, about communalism, you know. But we know that the Native Americans, called Native American, we know that they say that the land cannot be bought or sold. It is for the benefit of the people. So we see that the intentions behind in which a people use a thing, because you can tell the collective psychology of one's mentality by what he or she produces. So someone is saying that I'm going to determine the distribution of the food supply. I'm going to determine the distribution of the wealth. Hmm? I'm going to determine the distribution, how information is going to be shared with you. But the intent behind the thing, there lies the problem. It is very hypocritical for one who used to tell you to do good, and he himself neglect doing good himself. So the surrender of their product to the members of the clan. Now there are those who will go in the intention behind it, who will force you to surrender your food supply, take your food supply, and leave you parched or leave you dry, leave you without food, and then therefore they will sell you the food that they took for you at a higher rate and at a higher price. So what needs to be protected is one's food supply. And you doing so, you wind up you protecting the family. Because we live in an abundant world, an abundant society where no one should be without food, basic necessities, clothes, and shelter. But don't take that from someone that has been given to them by nature, and then you go and sell it back to them at a higher rate and a higher price. That's very hypocritical. That's very unethical. But we see the collective psychology. Once you want to see the collective psychology of one's mentality about what he or she produces, and therefore it becomes a practice, and then they justify it by calling it a law. Marriage, the practice of getting husbands or other clans, enables each other to extend its diet. To extend its diet. And we look at the society in which we live, that one has a diet for greed, one has a diet for corruption, one has a diet for chaos, one has a diet for confusion, one has a diet for fraud, one has a diet for lying. And they marry into other groups of clans and community of people to help to perpetuate that type of behavior and that type of practice. By obtaining access to foods which it did not produce itself. It's like, as Brother Dr. Clark would say, and I'm paraphrasing, you take something that's really, you take something that's not yours, and then you take something that's not yours, and I forgot how he said it, but all I know that in this society we take something that you did not work for, that's not yours, and once again you want us to pay for that which you took from the other people, or you take something that you're not willing to work for yourself, and you take something that what you're really don't want to work for yourself, and then you become self-indulgent, a person of leisure, a person of luxury, and that becomes the pursuit of what this country said, the pursuit of happiness. Really, happiness, Imam Waldin Muhammad would say, it's not a really good word. It really should represent the totality of one's well-being, because happiness is the joy that you feel when you're in pursuit of your happiness, and one who participates. The key to social life is family, and those family, you're married to the family, and those who participate in that family activity find joy, and those who don't find joy in misery. So you see why the people is in misery. They seem to be married into misery. Yes. So social kinship could have grown out of widespread or primitive practice of group marriage. In the sages' words of Sir G. Fraser, such a system of group marriage would explain simply why every man gives the name of his wife to a whole group of women, and every woman gives the name of her husband to a whole group of men, why every man and every woman apply the names of father and mother to the whole groups of men and women, of whom it is physically impossible that more than two individuals can be their parents, while every man and every woman apply the name of brother and sister to whole groups of men and women with whom they need not to have a drop of blood in common, and why finally every man and every woman claim as their sons and daughters whose groups of men and women whom they neither begat nor bear. In short, group marriage explains group relationship. I repeat, in short, I repeat this. In short, group marriage explains group relationships, and it is hard to see what else can do so. Until next time, give to the gift of social literacy. Common humanity mission. One thing, as they say on certain stations, I say welcome. I hope that you will be inspired, you will be informed, you will be enlightened, you will be encouraged, and you will be empowered. Talk to you.